Hi, this is Doug Zanes. Welcome to my weekly show. I appreciate you guys tuning in to listen to me for a little while today. My topic this week is going to be diminished value claims. I think this is an important topic. At least it seems to be very important to most of our clients who are in car accidents. And so let's kind of start with what is a diminished value claim. Essentially, what it is it's when you've been involved in a car accident that's not your fault, and your vehicle, even after it's been fixed, is now no longer worth the same amount of money that it would be worth had you never been involved in the car accident. That's what a diminished value claim is. You're essentially saying to the insurance carrier for the at-fault party that even though your vehicle's been fixed, it's now worth less money at some point in the future when you try to sell it, when you try to trade it in to get another vehicle, and you're telling them that you should be compensated for that difference in value. Now, insurance companies for at-fault drivers do not like paying out on diminished value claims, and they just don't, and so they're going to fight you on it. But it is of interest to most of our clients who are in car accidents. So I thought I'd take a little bit of time today, talk about the claims, how they work, what the important aspects of a diminished value claim is, and kind of what you need to be aware of. Okay, so first and foremost, to have a diminished value claim if you've been in a car accident. First, the car accident can't be your fault. If the car accident is your fault, your vehicle may be worth less than it would have been, but no one else is responsible for that. No one else's insurance company is responsible for that. And so to have a diminished value claim, you have to be involved in a car accident that's caused by somebody else. So you have to have an at-fault party who you're going and making that claim against. You also need to have generally a newer vehicle. If you have a later model vehicle, for example, it's now 2014. If you're driving a 2003 or a 2004 Honda Accord, you're probably not going to have much of a diminished value claim. You could have one potentially, but it's not going to be big enough to, quite honestly, make it worth pursuing. You generally need a newer vehicle. So, we're in 2014, so it'd probably need to be, a 2014, 2013, maybe a 2012 vehicle. It generally needs to be a more expensive vehicle. If your vehicle brand new was a $10,000 car, you're still not going to have much of a diminished value claim. If your vehicle brand new, let's say in 2013 when you got it a year ago, was a $55,000 Chevy Tahoe that's loaded, then you probably do have a diminished value claim. So that's sort of parameter number one, is you need a newer model vehicle that's generally a more expensive vehicle. Again, these are just parameters, nothing's carved in stone, but generally we like to see, if we're going to pursue one of those claims, the car value being $30,000 or more, the vehicle only being 2 years old, typically at most. Because essentially what we're saying is, even after the at-fault party's insurance company fixes my client's car, so it's now drivable, it's now fine, it now works perfectly fine, it's still not worth as much as it would have been because it's in the value, or because it's been in the accident. And we're looking for $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 or more in diminished value, quite honestly. So step one is the accident has to be somebody else's fault. Step two is your vehicle needs to be a newer, relatively more expensive vehicle. Step three is, if you're going to make a diminished value claim, you generally need to have your own insurance company pay to fix your vehicle, instead of making that property damage claim through the at-fault party's insurance company and having them pay for it. And here's why. Most drivers out there aren't carrying a lot of property damage or collision coverage as far as insurance policies go. And so if the driver that hit you only has $10,000 worth of property damage coverage to fix your vehicle, and it's going to cost $9,000 to fix your vehicle, and we're not counting the diminished value claim, we're just talking about fixing your vehicle. When they pay that $9,000 to fix that vehicle, if you make the claim through the at-fault driver's company, and you then go make a diminished value claim, there's only $1,000 left to compensate you for that diminished value claim, because he only had a $10,000 policy limit when it came to his property damage coverage. So what you want to do is get your vehicle fixed through your insurance company, which leaves $10,000 still available to compensate you for your diminished value claim through the at-fault driver. Now, sometimes that's difficult for clients, because if you get your vehicle fixed through your insurance company, you also have to pay your deductible. And if you have a $500 deductible, if you have a $1,000 deductible, you then have to be able to pay that deductible generally to get your car fixed or get it back from the dealership. So that's step number 3, quite honestly, is get your vehicle fixed through your own insurance company, even though you've got to pay your deductible. Then the next thing to watch out for, the next thing that happens, is after your insurance company pays to fix your car. So they spend the $9,000 under your policy to fix your vehicle. Your insurance company will then want to go to the at-fault driver's insurance company and say to them that they need to reimburse your insurance company. So for example, if your insurance company is Progressive, they pay to fix your vehicle. The at-fault driver's insurance company is Geico. Progressive, your insurance company, after they pay to fix your vehicle, will then go to Geico and say, Geico, you need to pay us back the $9,000 that we spent to fix our client's car because the accident was your driver's fault. And they've got every right to do that. But what you've got to do is you have to stop them from doing that. And you have every right to stop them from doing that. And the way you do it is you basically say to your insurance company, and it generally takes a lot of firmness and a lot of things in writing, but you say to your insurance company, do not go and do that. I'm not giving you permission to do that. And you need to understand, if my insurance company, goes and sucks up that money from Geico, so it's not available for me on my diminished value claim, you have now put yourself ahead of me, which you don't get to do. And so you've got to stop them from subrogating for what they pay to fix your vehicle. So then that's the next step. And then the final step is you go to Geico and you say, okay, my vehicle is worth less because it was damaged in this accident. And they're going to say, no, it's not. And so then that fight begins. And the way you prove that it is you have to go get an independent appraiser, vehicle appraiser, to look at your vehicle, prepare a report that essentially explains how much less your vehicle is now worth, even though it's been fixed, and why it's now worth less. And send that off to the at-fault driver's insurance company, in our example, Geico. Now, Geico may go do the same thing. They may go get their own appraiser. But generally, at the beginning of a claim, what they do is they just look at it and they address it one way or another. Now, they may address it by agreeing with you and paying you the diminished value. They may look at your appraisal and try to split the difference with you. If your appraisal says your vehicle, the diminished value is $8,000, they may be willing to pay you $4,000 to be done with it. Or they may deny it altogether and just say, we disagree. We don't think your vehicle's worth less. I've seen insurance companies try to argue that it's not worth less at this point because you haven't tried to sell it, you haven't tried to trade it in, but there's actually case law in Arizona that says they can't do that. That you don't have to have tried to sell it or trade it in to have a diminished value claim. So that's kind of fallen by the wayside over the last couple of years, but I think it is still an argument that insurance companies throw out there. And from that perspective, the diminished value claim is like any other claim where you've got to go fight with an insurance company. Now, can an attorney help you on a diminished value claim? Sure, if attorneys are willing to take those cases. I mean, we have taken them in the past, resolved them successfully. I can think of, a handful of cases we currently have in litigation where we've sued the insurance company on a diminished value claim to try to make them pay what we believe that they should pay. But they're not easy. But they are valid claims, and I think I know those types of claims are of interest to our clients because it is true. I mean, your vehicle generally is worth less if it's been in an accident, and when that accident isn't your fault, shouldn't they compensate you for that? Now, keep in mind, the reason is, you really need to meet these parameters. Newer vehicle that had more value to begin with, in order to have a diminished value claim worth pursuing. When I say that from an attorney's perspective, because it takes just as much work to litigate a diminished value claim as it does any other claim. And if your diminished value is $1,500 total, $1,500 is a lot of money, but when we look at the time that goes into that claim on an hourly basis, if we have to litigate it, it's probably $10,000 worth of time to make, if we were taking a 1/3 contingency fee, $500. So it just doesn't make sense for most attorneys to take those cases. I mean, generally, when we take those cases, to a large degree, it has more to do with handling it as part of a personal injury case that we're handling, and we deal with them in that realm. But I hope this is helpful to anybody who's been in a car accident and is wondering how diminished value claims work with their vehicles and what to watch out for. And if you want to pursue it, those are the things you need to do and keep in mind. Because the very important piece up front is that you get your vehicle fixed through your insurance company instead of the at-fault driver's insurance company, and that you prevent your insurance company from trying to subrogate against the at-fault driver's insurance company for what they pay to fix your vehicle, because you need that money to still be available to you on your diminished value claim. So thank you for tuning in this week. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to address in the future, you can email me at dzanes@zaneslaw.com. That's ZANESLAW.com. And I'm happy to set up a future show that addresses whatever your questions are. Have a great week.